I met these musicians by chance, in a way, because I had a very good friend, a Mongolian friend in France that I've known for 10 years. And I met him not at all from an anthropological point of view. I mean, I did not do research on Mongolia, just he was a friend. And I discovered through him these musicians. And I heard and I was fascinated by the beauty of the music. And I also noticed that a lot of people were attracted to this music without knowing anything about Mongolia. So I met them in Paris, and I first saw them play in the Beaubourg Plaza. And I was both fascinated by I was both fascinated by the music and by the fact that people would be themselves fascinated by it without just passing by and looking at the music. And again, not knowing anything about Mongolian culture or hearing this for the first time, and they would immediately catch up with it. So that's how I met them, and then I became friends with them, and I just discussed. And again, it was not initially from an anthropological point of view, it was just friendship, which enabled me to slowly get some insight about what they were singing about both the contents and the technical aspect of the music. How do you make these sounds, and how long it takes to actually learn how to make these songs. And then they're very enthusiastic about this music, and they started telling me what is the content of what they sing, because it seems as if they don't sing anything, but actually so the words are, and the poetry is very important to them. So through this, then I started to understand culture aspects of this music. How to link anthropology and filmmaking for me is a crucial question, is something very, very important. I have, for I think 15 years, I've been writing research papers on trying to describe cultures, people, relationships. And there was also always something missing for me. There was also always something I couldn't grasp through the written form. And the film media, I've always believed that the film media gives an access to the quality of the relationships which cannot be done in the written form. And cinema, it's not anthropology, it's something different, but I think the two complement each other very much. And I think telling stories of personal stories and showing how people react also through time and in less descriptive words or theoretical words, I think is an amazing value. I mean, it's something something different from something more than what we can write about. Yeah, what was fascinating for me, living with these musicians for some time, was to see how much they are in Paris, but at the same time they are in Paris with all their culture, and in a way, this is why I named it the Altai on the pavement. In the way they are able to bring with them, with the music, they bring with them the whole luggage of their own culture. So it's both something they share, but it's because it's so accessible. The music somehow. I was discussing with one of the musicians, the older person who's also a teacher in the university, and he was telling me that a lot of people who listen to his music, and especially when he plays the fiddle, they start crying, even though they don't understand the words. And he's convinced that it's because what they convey is the essence of the words that they sing, and the essence of what they are actually singing about. Even though people don't understand it, they actually understand something of it, and that's why they're so moved by the music. And so they are very much aware that this is part of their music, that the culture is totally, they convey this culture with them. And doing so, they are also securing around them their own world, I would say, their own space, which means that it's like living in the yurt, in the sense that they are able to move. They are nomads and they are able to move, but they are also keeping with them their own culture and their own. So basically, they could be in Paris, but they could be anywhere else, and it's not. They are not totally disturbed by their environment. They are really extremely solid, and they can reproduce in a way very simply, without without their costume is there to show other people that they are different. But even when they don't wear the costume, and this is also why I try to film them as I filmed them in the beginning with the costume, and soon they shed off this I would say exotic attirail, but they don't need any of these artificial artifacts. They are really by being together and by singing together and by continuously reviving this age-old culture, they are able to stay Mongolians anywhere they are. And it's also interesting to see the choices that these young. So there's one elder person who's been wanting to make music all his life and learned it by ear, through the transmission, the old transmission of musician, even though he's an expert musician. And we see him also interacting with an opera singer, and the opera singer is amazed by the quality of his music also and his understanding. So he's done this all his life, but the two younger ones who have tried other ways and went through university, law students, decided to revert to music, even though it's not something that they may not make a lot of money from it. It's not such an opportunity, but they really want to make music, and they want to make traditional music. They want to keep alive this culture. Also, and one aspect of that is also when I say traditional, and for an anthropologist it's very interesting, it's not something that stays the same. And some of the words for most of the songs, they rewrite, they may add some poetry to this traditional singing. They add their own poetry, they add their own musical arrangements, so it's something that evolves also. So it's really keeping the culture in its dynamics. It's not just, you know, reproducing something that used to be, and so it's really a live culture in a way. It's not something dying.
Thank you. Merci.